Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is the second open book stories by Art Nash today. It's January 22nd, 2014. And this new story, the story today, the second story today of the open book by stories by Art Nash will be how Art Nash got his degree from Indiana State University.
Well, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll just come over here. Thank you so much for introducing me. If I could make one small correction, Margie. It wasn't Indiana State University, it was Indiana University.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So have a seat here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is an interesting story. If you'll all recall, the first one was on the beautiful boat Star Tracker, which took me up and down the coast of California and to the borders of Mexico and close to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. And but that story is you've got that. This one is a very interesting story. How I got my degree from Indiana University. Well, most would think what you do is you go to Indiana University and you study and you get your degree. Well, I had never been to Indiana University. I'd been to Ball State, went there for 2 years, and I went to Purdue University, went there for 2 years, and then a little band called Mason Prophet came along, and off we went into the hinterland for years, playing, constantly, and I forgot about college. About 1977, I had been living in Bloomington, Indiana with friends. My dear friend John Sisson, who's a master painter, poet, well-renowned martial arts expert, dear friend, and all that, and playing in a band called String Bean String Band. Some great friends of mine. And it was a winter cold night, December 24th, actually, 1977. And at the time, we'd been living in a cabin out sort of out in the outer areas of Bloomington. A lot of parties out there. And it was cold, and at the time, we weren't making as much money as we thought we'd be making, and there was no heat, and we were burning whatever we could to stay warm, whatever. And a guy comes through the door, a friend of mine, said, "Hey, you want to get out of here?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm freezing to death. I'd like to get out of here." Well, let's go to Colorado Springs, and we did. And as a matter of fact, when we went to Colorado Springs, this is the band that I went with, called Buck Dancer. I'll show you that quickly. It'll be behind me on the screen later. This Buck Dancer band went on to, through the help of some wealthy individuals who backed us, took us to Malibu, California, and for 1 year, with a producer, engineers, we recorded on top of Malibu Mountain in a studio called Indigo Ranch, which is a ranch studio owned by the Moody Blues of Whites and Knights Satin fame and many others. It actually was a house that Rudolph Valentino lived in. Now, we spent a year up there. Rudolph Valentino was the first silent screen romantic male movie star in the 20s. And his home was beautiful, it was haunted and all that. So we're up there for a year. And we're spending 8 hours a day up there recording, living in Tuna Canyon, about 20 miles away, and this and that. And after about 6 months up there, out of nowhere, I said to myself, I'm bored. Playing drums is fine, but the recording, we're getting through that, and we're not recording as much. We're waiting around for this and that, this and that. I'm bored. I want to do something, I was saying to myself. No one else would listen to me. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So I said to myself, I'm going to find a phone number for Indiana University. Never been there in my life. Bloomington, Indiana. And I'm going to call the Sociology Department, which I had no idea what sociology was at the time. Ask me why I do that, why I would have done something like that. I guess everybody asks that question about me, including myself, but I never really answer it. I just do what I say. I do what I think, do what I wonder, whatever. So I called the department and I asked to speak with a professor. I got a Charles Reagan, a very wonderful person I ended up being friends with. I said, Charles, I'm here on top of a mountain in Malibu, California. I'm recording in the Moody Blues Ranch studio called Indigo Ranch, which used to be the home of Rudolph Valentino, and I'm bored. And I like to do a thesis on myself. That is this. I have to compromise a little bit as an artist, of course, to make music accessible to the public. Yet you cannot compromise your integrity. There's a balance between the two that's very, very fine line and critical so you can maintain your integrity. Would you allow me to write a thesis that while I'm sitting in the ranch up here on top of the mountain, sitting in the studio recording on drums as we do, while I do that, write a thesis on that concept and send it to you? And if so, what would you call it? He said, well, never had anybody do that, Art. I said, well, that doesn't surprise me, actually. I tend to do some things in life that nobody else tries. And he said, but we'll let you. I said, what would you call it? We'll call it independent study. And I said, fine. So he gets off the phone. He sends me the paperwork. I had my girlfriend fill it out. I refused to do it. And she sent it back in with $50 or whatever it was, and off I go. And I start writing while I'm recording between sessions, at the board, hanging out, having dinner, writing about this thought, about the balance between keeping my artistic integrity and compromising and making sure that the music is actually accessible to the public. After about 30 or 40 pages of handwritten notes, I said, they'll never take this the way this looks. Everybody who knows me knows you can't read my handwriting. That's out. So I asked the girls there, they were the girlfriends of the guys that were there, would you help the drummer type it up? Oh, they all went crazy. They thought it would be a fun project while they cooked and ran around and did things in the mountains. So they started typing. And we kept driving up to the top of the mountain. Indigo Ranch, Moody Blues. Buck Dancer was the name of the band, as I showed you the picture, and you'll see it behind me. And a great band. Bob Lucas, Scott Mary, Kenny Iparillo, Mr. Natural, Rob Bowden, and my dear friend Jim Moore on steel guitar, and myself, six-piece band. And we finally finished it. And one day the girls come up and said, Art, we've got your thesis done. So I said, may I see it? Well, yeah. 30 pages typewritten, or typed from my handwriting. It was incredible the work they'd done. So I read it over, and I said, my goodness, I couldn't have done a better job myself. And they said, Art, you could have never done this ever. Be honest, you can't type. I said, I admit it. So I went ahead and sent it in, and never thought about it again because I was in California and we started playing, and we actually ended up back in Bloomington to do some concerts there, Buck Dancer, before we disbanded. And then I get a call. Excuse me. It was Charles Reagan from the Sociology Department. Hello, Art. Hello, Professor Reagan. How you doing, sir? Fine. And what may I do for you? Well, we got your thesis. I see. And what did you think? Well, it's astounding. It's astounding. We love it. As a matter of fact, Art, would you come back to Bloomington and join the department, finish your degree in sociology, we'll get you cleared and entered into the program, and then you can join our department. I said, the band had just broken up. I had nothing to do. I was bored. Everybody knows when I get bored, I have to find something to do. I said, sure. We were in Bloomington anyway. I came back to Thousand Oaks, California, and cleaned out everything. And that was after we moved from Tuna Canyon. It was a nice horse ranch we lived on. And trucked our way back to Bloomington, worked my way up to the stairs wherever the sociology department was at Indiana University of Bloomington, knocked on the door. The dean was there with his friends. I sat down and they said, "You're Art Nash?" I said, yes, I am. And I'm the one, oh, you just turned it off. Hello again. I'll just keep going.
That's because it goes to sleep after a while.
Forgive us. That's technology. That's why I despise it. Now, what the bottom line is, that's a story. I talked to the dean and everyone. They said, we've never admitted anybody into the department of Indiana University in the sociology department without taking electives. I'd already taken 120 hours of electives in Ball State and Purdue University, and they said every one of them passed or they transferred, and you do not need to take uh, any more electives. Join the department. So, in a nutshell, I wanted to just say I joined the department. I finished my degree. I took 30 hours, 33 hours in 4 semesters or something, 3 semesters, including summer. And instead of joining the department, I got married and had children and went to work. But I wanted to tell you that's how I found my way from buck dancer, from a cold, uh, heatless house in Bloomington on a late December evening to Colorado Springs to Malibu, California, recording in Indigo Ranch at the Moody Blues studio that used to be Rudolph Valentino's home, to doing an independent study for the sociology department at Indiana University, and being asked to join the department and going back and doing it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's not the Star Tracker, but it is another open book life adventure of me and my life as it has transpired. And there'll be others. So I wanted to thank you all for tuning in. Please, if you have any comments about the authenticity of what I've said, or would like clarification about anything that I've done in this area, I welcome your comments and we will get right back to you. So, with that in mind, Margie, would you like to? You sit here. I'm going to let Margie take over. Thank you again for having me. Have a blessed day and good night.
Hello there, everyone, again. I wanted to let you know that this recording will be on Art Nash's Facebook page. I will be putting it on there along with this picture that Art Nash showed you. Well, I'm trying to show you here on my,
Yeah.
it's hard to see, but I will be putting this picture on the Facebook page as well. It's hard to show you here on this webcam. So let me give you his Facebook address. His Facebook address is www.facebook.com/art.nash16. And thanks again, and we'll see you on Facebook.